Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing of the Go Mic by Samsung. Now this is a portable USB microphone aimed at those of you looking to get better microphone capability than what's offered on board on things like laptops and tablets, and that's part of the reason right here on the front of the box you can see the microphone is mounted with its built-on clip to the top of an LCD screen for a laptop. So that's one of the most obvious uses, whether you want to get better microphone performance for things like Skype or VoIP. This is definitely an ideal solution, and this is even a good microphone for those of you looking to do voiceovers or even semi-professional work on the go. Again, I have to emphasize this is all about portability. As you can see on the left side of the box, they show the actual closed up form factor when the microphone basically clips into its own clip, and that clip can be used to attach to just about anything that it will accommodate, but again, it is designed to be hooked up to the bezel of an LCD screen. So that's the basic idea of this microphone, getting the best possible audio quality that you can in the smallest form factor. They do include some capturing software, but of course you can use just about anything you want. On the back side, before I get this baby open, we'll just go over what we see on the box. Essentially just telling you an all-metal design. You've got selectable modes, which I'll get into when I actually get it out of the box, 3 different modes that this can capture, and that's part of what really makes this a compelling offering, especially at its newfound discounted price. And overall, they're just going over the fact that it does rely on a mini USB connection. You do also have a headphone jack port for live monitoring, which is certainly a nice touch on a very inexpensive microphone. But overall, this really does promise to give you one of the best bangs for your buck, and arguably does compete with a lot of the far more expensive Blue microphone based products. It does also include a carry case which will accommodate just this piece. Of course, I think a mini USB is in just about everyone's bag, so that's not a big deal that it can't afford a cable as well. But with that said, let's go ahead and get this thing open, which hopefully won't be too tedious. And I see it's already starting to go over here. Part of the reason I'm excited to get this is because, again, it is all about its portability, and most microphones like this, or at least that offer the sort of quality that this promotes, generally do not end up yielding the sort of experience that at least I would hope for, and I think most people would. So even in the most basic things of, it could even be gaming audio. If you want to be able to communicate with a far better microphone than what you're using currently, this could be your best bet. And because of its portability, that's going to let you take it anywhere, which is part of the reason that I think it's so attractive. Now, I can tell you guys right out of the box, construction is really solid. So there's no question it does lend to a feeling of quality, and at the price point, I'm kind of shocked. It is made in China, not that that's noteworthy, most of our electronics are, but the fact that it's so, at least at face value, well built is impressive. Now this is that clip that articulates and basically will attempt to accommodate whatever the narrow space is there, as you guys can see right there when it's fully expanded. And then you've got the microphone, which also has a ball bearing right here that will allow you to essentially position it just about any way you need to, depending on what you're trying to get out of its performance. And that's because, as I mentioned before, it does have 3 different settings, which I will get to in a moment. On the right side of the mic, you can see we've got our mini USB port, and that's flanked by the headphone port. So essentially you can, as I mentioned, live monitor, which is definitely a nice thing. Now this doesn't have an array of buttons and controls like a lot of other microphones. Part of that is because of its size. I think another part is also its price point. Even though this was originally $80, that was because it does offer exceptional audio in a very compact form factor. Now you can see here we've got 3 different modes that we can switch in and out of. And this is where things get interesting, because you have negative 10 dB right there in the center, which is going to give you basically the best audio performance, or I should say microphone capability, that this is going to provide. You're going to get the most isolated, most concentrated, front-focused mic performance from it there. But that's not ideal for most uses. In fact, that's more of a studio mode. You're going to use a pop filter. You're going to be doing a lot of different things in order to get the best performance for this. So that's not ideal for the average user who's just mounting this to their laptop or using it with a tablet. But the cardioid mode, that's definitely a great mode if you want just a front end recording, something straight ahead. You're going to get background noise, unlike that negative 10 dB, but that's really not a big deal. After all, that's at least what I think most users will be doing with this microphone out of the box. If it's mounted, you know, about, I don't know, less than a foot or roughly a foot away from you, you're going to want to be in that mode. It also has an omnidirectional, which is going to give you, you know, the entire environment 360 degrees. That's ideal for things like video conferencing with a large group, or if you're doing a business recording, conference, something of that nature, an interview. That's going to be far more optimal than the other two modes. Again, negative 10 dB really is not something you're going to be using for anything other than trying to emulate studio work. The other two modes are the more traditional focal points that you would expect to see out of something like this. But again, it's shocking that they're even there, because this is just a portable mic, and really, if it just offered better sound than traditional onboard built-on mic capability, I think that would be enough at this $40 price point, or even less, as I mentioned before. I've seen it as low as $30 on Amazon. So you've got those three modes, and I will, of course, report back to you guys on how well they perform, but I'm expecting good things from all three, because the cardioid obviously is ideal for something like podcasts, voiceovers, instrumentals, vocals, things of that nature. But again, studio negative 10 dB. Overall, again, build is really, really nice. In terms of what's left in the box, let's move on. We've got our little inlay here, some paper. Apparently I just dissected that. Let me lift the tab like I should have to begin with. Pretty nice packaging, I will say, considering the nature of this product. This is the carry case that I mentioned earlier, which will accommodate the microphone. So basically, if you just put it back in there, see if I got it all the way in. I do. And you're good to go in the carry case. It is branded. And again, this is Samson, not Samsung, in case some people thought at the beginning of this unboxing I said Samsung. It is Samson is the brand. For those of you in the audio world, you already know the name, so that's neither here nor there. In terms of other included cables, the obligatory cable you're going to need in order to actually use this, which is your mini USB, not to be confused with a micro. This is a mini, and micro, of course, is what's commonly used to charge basically every smartphone on the planet, and that's what we all pretty much travel with. Mini, unfortunately, not as popular, but certainly still out there, and I think most of you already have one of these, but if you don't, obviously a good thing that it's included, because otherwise you will not be able to use this. So you do need to actually have that USB connection. Keep in mind this is compatible with Android and iOS, simply because both platforms offer applications now. When this originally launched, well, there wasn't really anything to talk about in terms of mobile applications for capture, and that's another thing that makes this product really, really unique. So wanted to point that out. Other than that, we've got some clips here for, I assume, mounting, and a little bit of paperwork, which I'm going to imagine is probably going to be the software I mentioned before, which it is, and a little bit of instruction in this owner's manual. So pretty much that covers the Samson Go Mic. For those of you who have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them, and of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.